Um, Good morning. I'm sorry, cause it's like I'm about to try to explain it the best I can. What Amy Hollum just did for me and several other TIs. Um, Now they're posting energy from the phone because I don't feel it coming from anywhere else. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna flip the camera in a bit because I just watched this video where she teaches everyone how to use a very specific waveform generator by it's a computer app. It's not for cell phones, and I wish it was for cell phones, but and she was so excited about getting this information out there and for free. Um, oh my goodness, this is it's like so much pressure being relieved from my head right now, and it's like I can feel them pulsing energy into like the left side, like just under the rib, but on the left side, it's like I can feel the buildup of energy and the pulses, but it's not as intense as it or uncomfortable as it normally would be. And it's like I'm at my mother's house, and it's like I don't know, I'm feeling something like right here, like it's going into the rib, but it's not like completely. It's not causing me like complete discomfort, but I'm gonna show you why. I can feel like I can literally pinch and hold, like I'm holding the wave, like I'm holding it, like I can literally feel it, and it's connected to the phone, and then but I'm also using. Let me see. I feel mostly the phone. Yeah, mostly the phone. Because if I move it around, then and then I think on the other side of that plant is the Wi-Fi router. But anyway, so okay, I'm gonna flip the camera. All right, so Amy Hollum just well, not too recently, but she had um let me do what I did. So Amy Hollum has showed us this app called a visual analyzer, and this app is different from other waveform generator apps. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's not for cell phones. It's only for desktops and laptops. She said something about it has something to do with them using. It has something to do with the electrical grid and why it needs to be like directly connected to like the app has to be on a desktop computer or a laptop. I guess probably because it's plugged into the it's plugged into the wall, right? It's plugged into the outlet, or maybe it just has like certain hardware in a computer or a laptop that a cell phone doesn't have. I'm not exactly sure, but okay, so visual analyzer, type in what one here. Okay, right. So it's this website here. She just told me to type in visual analyzer, but then you can see that's the site right there as well. right? And then she goes to download and then tells us to click on this one. And then once you click it, it's going to automatically start downloading. Not a whole lot of things you need to do as far as downloading it. Once it downloads, you just run the installation program, and then once you run it, you're gonna see you're gonna get an option that's gonna say run through either 32 or 64. In the video that she was using, she used 64. Alright, now I got this message. I don't know if everyone else is gonna get this message, but let me see. And then for whatever reason, I don't know what happened to this computer, but for some reason I cannot pull up the device manager. Yeah, I keep getting this message. So I find that very odd that you can't pull up device manager on Windows. Yeah, and that doesn't pull up. So yeah, the visual analyzer. She said there's two ways you can open the waveform generator. You can either click on function generator and this will pop up, or you click on, I think she said, put that back on full screen. I actually don't need it on full screen. Click on instruments and then go to function generator. Now, okay, for about 40 minutes, 35, I don't know, the whole video, I'm gonna make sure I put the link to the video in the description, but the whole video is about 57 minutes, and she goes into details about not every single tab, but the main tabs that you need to know about is main, pulse, sweep, triangle, sawtooth, and noise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the only ones that you really need to mess with, right? Now, she's going to tell you some specific things to put in. I'm trying to go off of memory, or what memory I do. I can recall, because I'm always feeling pressure in the memory cortex. So a lot of times my memory call is just like lacking. But of course, that's not of my own fruition. That's them modulating and interfering with my cognitive functions. But anyway, a lot of what she mentions in the video is basically tweaking and testing out things that works for you, because everyone's targeting is specifically made for them. Because when we're talking about digital twin technology and remote neural monitoring and, well, all things nervous system and resonance, it's all pertaining to you. And this is probably one of the problems that most TIs often don't seem to realize, is when we're all trying to find solutions to this huge ass problem. There really is no one, I don't think that there is a one size fits all to this, unless I think the only one size fits all solution for this whole system is, one, since we're talking about nano devices inside the body, that means they are electronic, and all electronic devices can be destroyed with electromagnetic pulses. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, that's one way to probably destroy the wireless nanosensor network that's within our body, or if you want to call it wetware, that's one way, is to literally electromagnetic pulse it out. And that's why people like Tony Pantalaresco or Onion Head or anyone else who does a lot of like DIY, do it yourself um, um, device function stuff. Hold on, let me see. Is it here? No, where I'm trying to find my little. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So, remember I told you I made this. Basically, went on YouTube and found a video on how to basically turn a bug zapper into a low power EMP. Let me see. My mom is sleeping, so she's actually she did wake up a little bit at one point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just demonstrate this little spark gap device I got here. Okay. All right. This is just one thing. This is just one of my first attempts at building a device to actually help. Now I tried this on myself, so and you see the spark gap on the inside. Now, what I do with this, I basically just what I do with this, I basically, and this is a insulated copper coil. Let me see it. And what I do with this, I basically just take this against the skin. Most of the time, I try to find the exact spot where I'm feeling the attack at. Yeah, this is where they was hitting me at from my phone. And it's like every time I do that, it's get relief. It's a relief that I got, and it's almost, for me it's almost instant. Now the thing is, I try it with my mom, and she claims she doesn't really feel anything. Now, taking in consideration, I'm thinking, well, she also has a different body type than I am. I don't have a lot of fat, and I'm sure fat, like your body composition, how much fat, how much muscle, you have, can affect how much the energy can probably get deep within, the tissue of your body and whatnot. But let me see. Okay, let me get back to the computer so I can show you that part. All right. So, Amy. Well, now my mother's up, so maybe she can tell me if she notices anything. So, a lot of these settings, she basically tells you to just try and tweak different things. Your triangle and sawtooth, she tells you to make sure these are offset. Now, what's interesting enough is as I'm adjusting these, I could literally feel it in my brain. Almost like if there was a magnet or something, like, let's think polarities, right? Or poles. As I'm tweaking this, right, I can feel shifting and movement inside my brain, almost as if like someone is twisting and turning a magnet around in my head as I'm adjusting these. Right? Then she says, for the sweep and mix generator, she says, make sure you don't run it on 20 hertz because 20 hertz have a tendency to probably disrupt the computer. So she says to run it. She says between 43 and like 25 million. I've tested it out on 27 million. I've actually went 40 to 27 million. The reason why I chose 40 is because of what I have already learned about how 40 hertz can be used to actually I'm recording a video because I just finished watching the video where the lady shows people how to use this program to actually create a jamming in the signals that get to our body. So I'm glad that you up, because while I test it out, maybe you could tell me if you feel anything. Then she says, in this part here, you select through the different waveforms to test out to see which one works better for you. She does say something about don't do. Yeah, she'll explain that part more. I can't remember. I'm just getting this stuff all fresh off my mind. Like I literally just watched the video like 10 minutes ago. So I'm gonna just randomly pick DC positive. Then pulse. She says she switched this from I think like 100 and 900. Right. Apply. Okay, she said don't touch any of this, and she said because if you do, you might freeze the computer. So don't even click on that. Custom. She doesn't mess with custom. And then main. Now main. She said you like I said before, you can mess around and choose different ones. I think she said don't really need to use impulse, but like I said before, a lot of this is just you try different things. Now put that, and let's say square, sine, square, and then I put DC positive, and then we're gonna click on. Now as I'm hearing this, yet you can probably hear the sound yourself. I mean, you most likely don't want it to be too loud, because obviously it could get a little annoying. But I mean, it eventually turns into background noise as you get used to hearing it. But I've also learned you can do something like this. But just so you know what I'm feeling as I'm hearing this, first thing I notice is it's almost like instant how it feels like something inside my mind is like it's almost as if like something is being relaxed in my mind, and then I start to feel it throughout the body. Now she also explains too how using I think a spectrogram, which records I guess spectrums of frequency that's like being played or recorded in an environment, and she has images that show the difference between when this isn't playing in a TI's environment and then after. And then it's like after picture, you'll see that it actually interfered with a lot of the signals that is in the environment of the TI. So this is like your volume button. I even try silence. Ooh. And every time I do that deep exhale like that, most of the time it feels like a lot of pressure or energy like escaping the body. Now, silence, as you can hear, it's silent. You know, you don't hear anything, but I'm still feeling relief in my body. I even put it all the way up to like 100, and it feels like something is like I can literally feel like my nervous system is like something is like blocking. It feels like relief. I don't really know how else to explain it, but apparently, she says, by using this waveform generator on your computer, it interferes with their hacking abilities through the electrical grid and into your computer. And then when this waveform generator is playing, it's connected to the hardware of the computer, which is also interfering with whatever hacking, I don't know, pathway they have taken. I'm still learning about this tool, adjusting things here and there. When I adjust this, I could. It's like every time I adjust a different setting, it feels like a magnet, like a magnetic pole is shifting, like almost as if like something is being tuned inside my brain. But it's like it's something that you have to test out yourself. The more you tweak different things, you may feel like these adjustments happening within your energy. And like right now, I kid you not, it felt so good. And then she says, you can leave this running like all day. And then you can minimize it. She said, make sure this is on infinite so it's not like it doesn't stop. Just leave it on infinite. And yeah, she said just try different ones and see which one works best for you. Ooh. Oh. That sweet one. Ooh. Yo, I don't even know how to like explain in words. I just feel relief every time I play with a different setting. But that's this in a nutshell. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna minimize this so it's basically out of her way. I'll try to explain it to my mother another time or at some point how she can use it. Try to make it as simple as I can. I'm going to Rumble because that's where I've seen the video. Hold on. Okay, so her video. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just do it. I said Rumble. Her video is on Rumble. How to block attacks. Oh my goodness! Like I feel so like it's scary how settled I feel. Like I don't have that driving anxiety, that constant driving anxiety feeling right now. Like it's almost absent. But how to block attacks on your body from dues. Amy's audios. Okay, 54 minutes and 24. So yeah, this is the video. And like, I'm still feeling the effects of the generator playing, even though that this audio is playing. So it's like all right, you at least know you can still watch videos and stuff and still have the generator on. I'm just mad they don't make it for the cell phone, because I would just have it running on my phone all day. So yeah, same thing. Gonna fast forward. Yeah, see, and you see how she pulled up her device manager? I don't even understand why I can't pull up. I can't even pull up the device manager on this computer. Right, and she explains that there's something that you need to uninstall, but I couldn't even pull up the device manager. So I'm like, and she says something about how they're synchronizing with. Yeah, it's like she says they're synchronizing with certain software devices in the computer. So you remove those and then you play the generator. So, but anyway, yeah, I could go ahead and watch that. I just wanted to show you that I'm trying it and definitely feeling some positive things from this, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Close. Right. Okay. All right. Was there anything else? Let me see. I'm trying to see if there was anything else. And then she said something about you can adjust this too if you're using white noise. But every time I change these settings, it like, even though I can't hear anything, I can feel it. I can feel it in my brain, like one adjustment after another. It's just like a shifting here, shifting there. And then it was something else. But yeah, I mean, if anything, yeah, I done showed y'all where to find the video. Ooh. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I slept for a bit. I don't know. It's like when I'm here, I don't I don't feel as much of the attacks when I'm here. I'm not entirely sure why. But I'm trying not to make it seem like it's mostly because, the perps that I encountered them 5 years ago is basically from the Bronx. So whenever I go to the Bronx, it's like my target is going to be more when I'm in the Bronx or whatever. But I mean, that's not entirely true, because I'm also attacked everywhere. I'm attacked in Manhattan. I'm attacked in Brooklyn. If I go out to Staten Island, I'll feel some attacks out there. Even in Queens. I mean, y'all seen when I was on vacation, I was in other countries and was being attacked still. And then I think I sleep better here, even though I'm sleeping on a mattress. And this building probably has more concentration of EMF or whatever. than my building, or I don't know why, but yeah, there's so many different reasons as to why things are the way they are. But dang, I can't believe it's 6:20. I think I woke up somewhere around 4 or so. Um, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just gonna minimize this. I'm gonna go on by my day. I'm gonna just leave this on, and hopefully, I'm thinking, okay, so maybe, yeah, okay, I'll even turn the monitor off. Shoot, um, I'm hoping that this might help my mother. She is knocked out, snoring and everything. That's a good sign. So I'm gonna just leave that on while I go into my old room, and oh, I don't know, maybe I might try to go back to sleep. I'm off work today. Oh, I'm off work today, and oh man, I kid you not, like they are trying to destroy um they're trying to destroy how I perceive myself in so many relationships or friendships. Well, yeah, relationships, whatever, that I have with people. And, I had this long conversation. Well, yeah, I had this conversation with my sister, and you know, she's coming around to like understanding and believing in what my mother and I are experiencing. But of course, it's one of those. I mean, everybody knows it's one of those things where it's like you're watching someone that you love go through something that you don't quite understand, or you don't know how to handle it, and it's like, you know you appreciate that they are trying to help you, or they want to provide you with advice on things, and it's like she's like, don't focus on the negative. I'm like, I really don't focus on the negative that much, but you got to understand, there are four there are four people who have created like a, I guess, a agentic AI digital version of themselves, who are constantly talking negative negatively into my mind, which is also affecting my frequency. And it's like you don't just only hear your own internal voice, because most people can talk themselves down from or talk themselves away internally from negative thoughts and stuff like that. But it's four people all talking, not all at the same time, but they actually they literally sound like four people sitting in the room, and one person talks and the other person stops. And it's like you can hear when they kind of like, you could tell when they're like choosing who's speaking into a mic or not, almost like, here, you speak, you speak, you speak, but they don't all talk at the same time. I mean, but that's pretty much like any conversation. Nobody likes to be in a group where everyone's talking at the same time, so they actually talk one at a time, but it's four different people. Um and then on top of that, you have these ultrasound and infrared energy waves that are constantly bombarding the nervous system. So it's like when people say, "Oh, I just ignore it." I'm like, "No, you're not simply ignoring it. You're doing a lot more than what you probably don't know what you're doing." Cuz it's not just ignoring. Cuz you can't just ignore. You are tuning. And I could say that because it's not just ignoring, you are tuning. And a lot of people, you got to remember, we all have different minds, we all have different bodies, and we all have different cognitive um, maturity levels, I guess. So when someone says, "Oh, you can just ignore it," no, you don't ignore. You don't. I mean, think about it like this: if you go somewhere where there's a lot of flies and mosquitoes and stuff like that, hell, you could be a native from somewhere where there's a lot of flies and mosquitoes, and they deal with these things every day, all day. You tell them to ignore it. It's like you can't tell somebody to ignore something that's constantly on them and in them all the time. The best thing you could do is try to tune yourself your it's like you're tuning your nervous system to a certain level um to where something probably, it's like where you're tuning your nervous system to be not as sensitive. So it's like, to say ignore, you're not ignoring anything, because you can't ignore something that's present, you can't ignore something that you're sensing. But what you can do is you can try to tune or resonate with it to the point, once you tune to its resonance, or tune to the frequency for which something is operating on, you can then, once you find that resonance, you can then like kind of press it out. You could like press it out. Isn't so I don't like to say ignore, because it's not, you can't ignore something that's present. You can tune it, you can you can jam it, but you don't ignore. But anyway, what else? um I'm still feeling pretty good. I mean, yeah, I haven't had my zapper in a couple of days. I was supposed to make another zapper, but um my girl, she wants me to show her how to build it, and I'm like, I mean, okay, I'll show you, but I was like, I sent you the video. You could build one too. Um, but you know what? I tried to not be, I guess, selfish in the words, in lack of better words. So I'm gonna help. I'm gonna work with her to build it, and it's really easy. I mean, literally, once you get the once you get the zapper, um, you literally unscrew it, cut the wires that connect to the rack, the the racket part. Cut the wire that connect to that. You're gonna cut off one wire that's connected to the base, or the circuit board, and then you're gonna take the copper wire, and you're going to at least strip the sorry you're going to strip the seal off the ends of the copper wire, roll it into a coil, and then what I did was, I basically, um I've seen one video where they completely took the attached copper wire, that the conductive wire, the attached, or what's the soldered, or yeah, I guess, I some on one video they show that they took off the soldered wire that was already on the circuit board, and then they just used straight up the other copper wire and made a coil of it, and soldered, did they solder it, or I think they either soldered it to the circuit board, or they either hot glue gun it to the circuit board on one side of the copper wire. It's probably better to actually see it, but anyway, I could share a video on that. But Yeah, so man, I'm so surprised at how well that actually worked. It's like I'm in a whole nother room and I still feel like I'm like maybe it's like permeating throughout the house. I don't know, but I feel good right now. I feel like I could go to sleep. Oh my goodness, you have no idea how much better I felt once I started messing around with it. And then it got to a point where I just sat in a chair and I just put my head back and I was like, yo, my whole nervous system is thanking me right now. I'm thinking Amy Harlem. Um, but anyway, yeah. If you have a laptop or desktop computer, definitely try it. Watch her video first. You can either watch it first or mess around with your like do it at the same time while you're watching the video. Um, but yeah, I think everyone needs to try this. Try that app. Anyway, aside from that, yeah, like I said, I'm off today. Um, to be honest, I'm just gonna throw this out there just because I just feel like sharing something that's very human. Um, man, I'm not gonna lie, like this targeting shit, like I've always had impulse controls, but then at this point, now with everything that I know, I have to look at everything that I've ever experienced in the past and decipher how much of that was my own intentional action, or was I steered, or was I pulsed to feel too much anxiety to make a move in this sense, or whatever the case. But like everything I look back on now, I'm just like, dang, you know, I probably could have been in a completely different position in my life right now if it weren't for these artificial electromagnetic fields and ultrasound waves and infrared light modulating my nervous system so bad. And I think about that for everyone. I think about that for every single person walking this planet right now. And I'm like, yo, they have made a killing for decades with this technology. I mean, the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And if you are not a target of the devil, if you are not a target of the devil, then you are definitely um you're definitely a tool for the devil. Because if the devil don't see you as an enemy, then you are definitely being used and harvested from in more ways than most. And the worst part is you don't even see it because they're too busy giving you shit and you too busy taking it. Now, of course, I get V2K, so when I talk like this, they're like, "Oh, he's so disrespectful," and then it's like, cause I mean, y'all know my videos. I don't say nothing malicious or violent, or I don't incite nothing, but they're saying people who work in very dark environments or dark spaces, um, they don't find me humorous. They find me very disruptive. They're like, oh, he's a snitch, or oh, you know, he's messing with people's livelihood. And I'm like, first and foremost, there are satanic Luciferian ritual abuse workers and witches and warlocks and whatnot that are using technology to hack every single living thing on this planet and then extract energy from those living things to give to someone or something else, or to take extracted energy from someone or something else and put it into someone to cause them to feel whatever the desired result is. So it's like this whole system is basically making a killing from turning your average every like I'm gonna tell you, this is the most strangest thing, because it's like I grew up looking into conspiracy theories, and I grew up watching like real life deaths and stuff like that, um and I mean like I've never seen someone get shot in front of me, at least not directly in front of me where I seen it, but I have seen people get stabbed before, or someone get hit by a car on purpose, or stuff like that. I've seen stuff like that, but then like it's like as a kid I grew up watching stuff like Faces of Death and other types of videos. So it's and I mean really young. But then I guess that also pertains to me having older friends when I was young. So it's like some of my best friends were like 4 or 5 years older than me. So I was already put on to a lot of things as a young kid. But I mean that usually happens growing up in New York City. Um, so but anyway, I don't know. I was saying all that for some reason, but now I can't remember my train. I just feel a whole bunch of pressure on the right side of my head, so it's like I can't remember what I was saying all that for right now. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the energy is coming from my phone. More like the bottom of the phone. So if it's coming from the bottom of the phone, that's the speakers. And if that's the speakers, then we're thinking ultrasound. And then it's like if I feel energy coming from the top, that's most likely the sensors from the camera and other sensors up top. So that would be the infrared light. Anyway, like I said, it's ultrasound and infrared light and pulsing electromagnetic fields from stuff like TVs or hell, even a battery that's not even plugged, like put into anything, like a battery just sitting on the side by itself. It still has an electromagnetic field around it, but they can still add add a directed energy to that field to amplify it, and then direct energy from the battery. um oh, right, there we go. So I said all that because I was like, yo, all my impulse controls, I've struggled with for years. And it's like got me thinking about that one video where this Asian dude was talking about why um was he Asian? I don't know. I don't even remember if he was Asian, but he was talking about um reasons, like he was basically given the inverted reason of why we do certain things, and why that is actually like um the devil's influence on our lives and in various sin forms. um but yeah, spending money, like I've always had this like impulse problems. Like I don't know, for me, I feel like most of my impulse problems come from stress. So it could be eating, drinking, or smoking, or just spending money because I know I'm working, or I know I'm in a place where I know I can get more money, as long as I work for it. And I always try to maintain that mentality, because that is a very godly mentality, is to always be willing to work, you know. Because I mean, hey, prayer without work is just speaking to me, and to me, I mean, a lot of people probably say something else, but I don't know. I feel like you gotta be praying and working at the same time. You gotta be working towards your prayer, right? Um, but yeah, so but then it's like, when I think about impulse is electrical activity. Impulse. Then now there was another video I was watching where this guy was talking, I think he was like a hypnotist or something, and he was talking about how our brains, we're just constantly receiving input. We're constantly receiving input, and um we may not realize it, but a lot of times random thoughts that we have may be someone else just projecting um an action, or projecting an action potential, or yeah, trying to spark some type of action out of you. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know, I could be walking down the street, and then one example was, he was like, you could be walking down the street, and out of nowhere the thought to spit on someone just pops into your mind. Or you're walking down the street and you see the ledge of a bridge and think, I wonder what it's like to jump off of that bridge. And it's like, he's like, be very, very mindful of everything that enters your mind. And that's one thing that I realized that they probably are shifting humanity away from, is shifting everyone away from thinking for themselves, and just be completely stuck on receive. And then if you're completely stuck on receive, and you're not actually thinking for yourself at all, you're not using that discernment to decipher and pick apart things that you do and do not want to do, you're just constantly just going to be steered and moved to do certain things that you didn't even intentionally want to do. Um, but yeah, yeah, I've always had problems with, impulse control. Hell, even sex. But I'm not one to like lie to someone to get what I want, or to steal from someone. I don't. I'm not that bad. See, I guess that's the discernment part, you know. But yeah. So um, saying all this because it's like, yo, after a while of dealing with this targeting thing, I'm realizing, like, yo, how much of my impulse actions were actually me. And was it just people have been watching me for years, and they was like, we want to make this motherfucker just be completely, I don't know, have him completely focused on sexualizing women, or have him completely focused on every time he, gets paid, he has to go to the bar, or, and it's one of those things. It's like, I mean, of course, I'm not trying to not take accountability, because at the end of the day, I still chose to do everything, but it's not to say, hell, was it more influence of something external, or did I actually want to do these things? So that's a whole, like, that's I guess that's basically where I'm at right now. Is um as I take like a third person view of myself, of watching myself being stimulated and listening to the V2K. Like, I like to think about it as what you're seeing is me. Like you're seeing me, but in my like conscious my conscious mind, I am doing something where it's like there's the body, there's me, and I can see my body. And because everything is happening to my body and I could hear the V2K, I then branch my visual perspective out to me looking at them. And because I'm hearing them, I am kind of almost maybe imagining, or I'm trying to create a simulated visual of looking at them looking at me. So a lot of times I've been working on this for a while. I have been finding a way to literally almost make it seem like I am still conscious. Like it's not quite astral projecting, but it's like I find a way to kind of step out of my body almost in a way that they don't notice that I have stepped out, and I'm just observing myself responding electrically to what they're doing, and then watching and listening to them talk as they are observing my body. Now, as they're observing my body and seeing and doing all that and talking all that shit, I don't think they've been able to figure out that aspect of consciousness where even though I'm in my body and I'm awake and I'm conscious and present, I am still observing them and my body at the same time. Now they gonna say, Chris, you're not supposed to tell people your plan. I say this: if it has been spoken out loud, or if God allows me to say certain things out loud, it's already done. Because the fact that because if God doesn't want people to know certain things, or if they're not ready to know, you're not going to know, and it won't be said. I mean, am I trying to say that God actually intervenes with people in that sense? Possible. I mean, it's God, right? There's certain things that we kind of intuitively know, but we don't understand, and then all of a sudden, at some later point in life, something clicks, and then or some situation happens, and then now we come to an understanding of what we already intuitively know. So yeah, they got a lot of energy coming from the phone, and now it's like I can feel like this heating and burning towards the, like it's like in my sinuses, but on the right side, which makes sense because it's my right hand holding my phone, and then as I'm holding the phone, this bottom part of the phone is touching like this part of my hand, and I'm feeling pulses. I'm literally feeling like vibrational pulses coming, hitting the corner, coming out of the corner of the phone and going into my arm. And then what I'm assuming it's doing is it's traveling up the arm, and then maybe there's something kind of like, yeah. So like it's traveling up the arm. Okay, so maybe it might actually. Okay, so it's going in through the mouth. Okay, yeah. So what I just did was I basically what I did with my fingertips is I look for the most hottest. I look for temperature variances or differences, because wherever the wave is traveling, that's going to be the hottest part of your body. So I found this one hot spot, and then I pinched. When I pinched, I literally I'm physically holding the wave. I don't know how to explain how I'm that sensitive, but once I pinch, I am physically holding a wave in my hand, and I'm feeling the vibrating pulses of the wave in my fingers. Like it's in between my thumb and my index and middle finger. Like I could feel the pulse of the energy. And as I move it around, I could feel it stretching and being pulled. Yeah. So it's definitely inserting into the mouth. And it's funny because as I'm doing this, I could feel that wave is not only just the phone, but it's also connected to other different things. So as I'm going like this, I also remember that there's a wave emitting from the toes, more likely the right big toe, and then there's a wave coming from my right knee. But it's also, I have learned through some wireless nanosensor network documents that there are nodes all over the body in different places. Now, I think I explained this before. So you got there would be nodes inside the knee joints because of the energy that can be harvested from movement and pressure. Um, Elbow, I just recently started to feel the sensor, the beam form from the elbow. That one I just started to notice. But yeah, shoulders, definitely the shoulders, because from the shoulders can once the beam is formed from within the node, the nodes that's in the shoulders, those can go right directly into your temple. They can go right to your temple, or they can attack different parts of the neck. um I think a lot of times, usually when they're attacking like your throat and stuff like that, it's usually coming from anything that's in this streamline here. More times than likely, there's a node or a cluster of nodes that's in your groin area. For those who study like energy, like natural energy and the flow of energy, your root chakra. So they're and your chakras are basically cluster sensors of energy, which is also can be anatomically known as a cluster sensor of nerves. So and they also can be looked at as portals too, but that's a whole nother aspect of looking at it. But yeah, so um, the groin area, and to be specific, it is not necessarily coming from like the testes or you know the vagina. It's like between the space, that little space in between where the anus and the genitalia, the little space in between there. I could feel like the pulsing. It's like a pulse, and then as I move my hand back and forth, I could feel like a steerable beam of energy coming out. Well, I got on pants, but it's like, I know this is gonna look weird, but it's like there. It's in between. It's in between your genitals and your butt, and a beam is formed from there, and it kind of comes up. A lot of times, it usually goes um, because it's an array. Because it's an array, and all these nodes are forming arrays all throughout the body. They're an array. it's an array, right? And then in that array is a steerable beam, and it forms a network. So you can have data sent from this knee to here, or it can go from the toe. I don't know if it crosses the body. I don't know how much of it ever crosses the body, but I think it kind of like, I don't think it ever crosses the body. I think it kind of hops. I think it like would go like hop, 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 you know. But anyway, um, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm excited though. I'm excited. Yeah, impulse, man, impulse control. Yeah, so and it's funny because I think one of the worst things that could probably happen to humanity is all of these people that's being fed off of the beef system, right? They don't even see that they're actually like they're digging their own graves. And I'm not even talking about just for the body. Like, I think a spiritual death is far worse than just physically dying. Because people can literally be alive physically, but they are spiritually dead. And when you see a person who is spiritually dead, you look at that person and be like, yo, there's nothing that can be done for you anymore. Like only God can probably fix you. And I'm like, like there are people out there who are walking around but are spiritually dead. You know, yeah, and the V2K, their whole aspect is to basically make it's to crack the whip. I mean I've called them slave catchers before. And that's exactly what they resemble. They resemble slave catchers. I mean, look at how they recruit. First they try to set you up with some type of situation where they're offering you something, or they set up some type of event um just to see if you are somebody who talks. Um, Everything that they do is a test, right? And it's like when you pass the test, basically stating that, okay, we can trust that you won't actually say anything if you see something that might be wild. But I'm like, yo, in my mind, I'm like, so it's mad people out here protecting rapists and pedophiles and all that, all because they pledged this allegiance to basically not say nothing about anything that somebody else is doing. But I'm like, yo, y'all literally have whole video chat rooms of people digitally sodomizing other people and children too. And it's like you are consciously aware that this is happening and you are in the position to do something. It's like because I mean, I don't get it. Like to me it's the craziest thing, because it's like how you come this close to having even tools that can actually induce world peace across the entire earth, but instead you actually use the very tools that you can use to create peace to actually create more trauma. If that doesn't tell you anything about good and evil in the world, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say. Oh man. Well, at least I slept a little bit, but I've been up since about 3:30 a.m. and now it's 7 a.m. Ooh, I'm glad I gotta go to work. Cause I didn't really get much sleep last night. Um, yeah, I didn't get much sleep last night because I don't know. I was feeling way too much energy coming from my girlfriend's body, and oh my goodness, yo, the psychological tactics that they're trying to do to make me not love her or to basically make me want to leave her. It's like it's wild. It's crazy. It's crazy wild because they they tell me all these different things that she's possibly thinking. So I know not to assume. What I'll do is I'll just ask her. I'll just say, "Hey, are you upset with me, or are you feeling this way, or how are you feeling today?" Because I always have to check in with her to see what she's actually thinking because they're always spinning something in my mind, and then it's like, well, if they can't just verbally say something that will you know retune my frequency, what they'll do is if we're in the same room or the same space, then they'll just basically harvest energy from her body and then direct it at the nanobots in mine, and that'll create this like it's almost like yeah, it literally feels like my entire nervous system be shaking, and this anxiety is just like dry. It's like being driven up inside of me. And it's crazy because it's like it's like she don't it's not that she does anything. She doesn't do anything to like hurt me or disrupt me or whatever. It's like I done narrowed it down to the fact that once two bodies or two networks are put together, they basically can make those two networks like fight each other, or they can yeah, pit one network against another one. It's literally like a game to them. But yeah. But I'm working on things, and I try to remind myself that whenever they are trying to mess with people that I care about, it's like I gotta remind myself this is a tactic, because if they're not necessarily messing with me, or I'm not in a position where I feel like I'm just too exhausted to want to try to do anything or whatever, and I feel like I'm in a good space, that's a small win for me, at least in that battle. So then what they'll do is, if they feel like affecting me directly isn't working at that time period or that point in time, they will go after whoever is like near me. Or if if like it could be like, I don't know, maybe me and my girlfriend, we having a good time, and we're I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe we're not experiencing as much attacks or something. Then if we're in a good space, then what they'll do is they'll probably attack my mother while she's all the way over here. And then now she's like calling me, telling me that she called the police again and she's going to the hospital. Now it's making me, now that fucks with my whole frequency, because now it makes me feel like, damn, I'm too far to even because it's like it would literally take me over an hour, like almost an hour and a half, just to get here by public transportation. You know, now some people would say, yo, you putting way too much information out there. You telling people a whole lot of stuff. And it's like, well, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but at the same time, it's like, yo, there's so much happening in this world to so many people. I am starting to really internalize that none of us, none of us are privileged to not experience anything. Like none of us are exempt from anything. And then it's so many things that's out of our control that we try to take control of, and realize we're doing ourselves a disservice to our health by trying to control so many things that are out of our control. So I'm learning that one of the most powerful things that people can do is remember that when a situation or something is happening, control yourself first. Because as you're responding to what you're seeing or hearing or whatever, there's a whole lot of things happening in your nervous system, emotions, thoughts, physical reactions, all chemical reactions. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening as you're receiving information or as you're being told information. You got to control yourself first before you can help anyone else. Because as V2K been telling me, they was like, he's so emotional. He don't do nothing until he needs to use emotional energy to do anything. He's not gonna be able to amount to nothing. He ain't gonna be able to do this. He can't do that. Control yourself first. And remind yourself that there are certain things that are out of your control. But control yourself first, because you're not going to be able to think properly if you allow yourself to be too emotional. Control your emotions. Don't do anything until you have thought it out. Unless you feel something that's intuitively driving you to do something. And I mean, like, intuition is different from, I would believe intuition is different from receiving a command or signal to tell you, or influence you to do something. Because intuition is just, it comes from within. It's intuition. It's something that, like, I don't know. It's like it's instinctual. It's instinctual. And then some people would say, well, some people don't have certain instincts. I'm like, well, you still have to learn to calm yourself down before you can make a move, right? So, controlled breathing. That's a very simple way of learning to control yourself before you do an action. What some people say, counting or tapping, whatever you gotta do, but control yourself first before you make any moves. Yeah. All right, I'm sleepy. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to sleep because it's daylight now, and I usually don't be sleeping during the day unless I'm exhausted. But I don't know. We'll see. Oh, right. And then I'll mention that in another video. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.